Still customer saying good everybody and welcome to my show. I'm trying to see if I am also going live. Yes, I am. Yes, I am going live on Instagram as well. I'm doing something different. My name is Lisa Dublin, and although this month I'm speaking about starting with who you are, what I want to do is different today. It's one of these sessions where I have something so burning to talk about that I interrupt like the normal schedule of what I wanted to talk about in the hope that speaking about discipline today and my eureka moments over the weekend can absolutely help to move the needle for you on making it a value, on accepting discipline, and also being for the people in your life the kind of person who helps them to be different. So I'm going to start with hey, everybody. Hi. Hello. Hello on Instagram, on LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, anywhere you're watching me. Welcome to my show. I won't be before you very long, but I promise to make it worth your while. I want to talk about the importance of discipline in your life, in mine, and how to approach it and how to be able to be that person in other people's lives who helps them to be their best selves by leading them to, you know, bigger and deeper discipline. On the weekend, my family and I, we went to an acreage. One of my cousins here has an acreage outside of Edmonton, and it was a whole family affair. And so we took our new pet Set. If you've seen my posts, I'm very excited. He has added so much joy to our family. He's a Rottweiler, and we got him about at the beginning of June. Anyway, this is his first outing amongst a big crowd. And so Set, we get to the acreage and he's on a leash, but he begins pulling. There are other dogs there, and Set is just like different. I learned so much more about that dog than before we went there. But anyway, more on that later. So there was a family friend hit there, and when he saw I was holding, I had the leash, and because Hillary's just not interested. Hillary's like, y'all got your dog. That's my husband. He's like, y'all got your dog. You guys are on your own. Okay. So I had him on the leash, but he was tugging and pulling and going to, trying to get with other dogs and so on. And then this friend, he took the leash from me and he's like, let me have him for a minute. And this guy proceeded to make that dog settle down and to discipline Set in a way that I don't think we had succeeded in doing, partly because we had never seen him in that kind of setting before. Okay. Yeah, you decided you wanted health and fitness to be one of your top five. You took action by joining a friend. Oh my goodness, that is awesome. Good job. A friend was just giving me an update because I have a core values chart, which is in my bio if you want to go see it on Instagram, and you can also find it on my page. So she was just giving me an update. Good for you for making that value come alive in your life. That's awesome. Anyway, you guys. So Set was just totally different. And we learned so many lessons about discipline. We spent a couple hours there on the acreage, and it was just so nice. Sorry, let me just put off WhatsApp. It's just going off here. And it was just wonderful. We learned discipline in a couple of ways that I wanted to talk about today. The first thing that this trainer he said to us was, "You don't even know what kind of dog you have." Right? If you knew what kind of dog you have and what he was meant for, you would definitely want to be disciplining him. You guys, like I'm not only am I a life coach, right? I'm this person who deals in analogies and making like connections between things. I'm into literature and writing and metaphor. And I was like, oh my goodness, isn't that exactly how we need to be with each other, especially where discipline is concerned? Many times we don't want to tell people the hard things. Many times we don't want to pull people up to the standard that we know that they should be at. And we let the discomfort of saying certain things in a great way, we let that discomfort get in the way when, if I know how much you are, if I know how great you're meant to be, then the discipline and the telling you the hard things is going to be a bit easier and almost necessary and inevitable. And that's the first lesson that I learned. The first lesson I learned was this from this trainer guy who was there on the acreage. And he's like, if you knew what kind of dog you had, you would definitely want to train him now. You definitely want to get this right. And I feel like every mother, every parent, perhaps, every parent, every teacher, anybody who's involved in personal development kind of knows what I'm talking about. What about if you just kind of turn that on yourself? If you knew your great potential, what you were exactly meant to do, and how far you were meant to go, would you not submit to discipline right now, to getting right in your life, the things that are going to propel you forward? And so we're continuing, on just family meeting. We were on a fire pit. It was just wonderful. And then Set, for the first time, that's our dog, Set bites my last son. He has never done anything of the sort before because the environment lent itself to amplifying what was exactly in him already. And because he had not been trained, that's exactly what he did. And so again, trainer stepped in, and guess what happened? You guys, I just saw my 8-year-old son just simply grow before my eyes. And I realized after that, I was like, I'm going to be to everybody who means something to me. I'm going to be that kind of person who holds you to a certain standard, as I hope the people who love me are going to hold me to a certain standard. Right? So it's my last son. He's 8. So, he got bitten by the dog. And my first instinct was to kind of run to him. And I did. And there was like, my family says, I have a lot of males in my family, a lot, just more males than females, right? Like, females are in the minority. I don't even ask me how, right? I have 3 sons. Then the whole set of guys over. Oh my goodness, it was just a lot of males. And my cousin and the trainer, and of course, Hillary, my husband, they were like, no, leave him. Let him learn to handle his dog. He has to show that he's the master. And then my cousin proceeded to school my last son and us on how the power dynamic works with dogs, and how you're supposed to really show them, discipline them as to what to do, that anything that you want them to do, it's in the place of discipline. You can get them to do it. You guys, I just sat there like, oh my gosh, I have so much to talk about on my podcast this week. I have so much to say because it was just amazing. And here's the amazing thing: I saw my son go from a crying, cuddly little boy, put his little shoulders up. Okay. So we cleaned the wound, and it wasn't that deep, honestly. And I mean, even though people said whatever, it's my son. Nobody's gonna prevent me from going to my child. But I understood that it was a almost a rites of passage for this kid. And what happened is, so he moved from me because, yes, I had him next to me. Even if I didn't want to like cuddle him, I was kind of keeping him close. My son walked over to where his cousins were and where the trainer was, and he sat amongst the men. He sat amongst them, in other words, and he started speaking to that dog in a manner that really showed that he was the one in authority. I just sat back amazed. And for me, the big lesson was, when you take discipline and when you take to it, when you accept it, what happens is that it awakens the giant in you. I know no other way to say it. And that for me was just big encouragement for the kings in my life. And all of these lions and lionesses that I train and that I interact with. There's a way that you tame a lion, or you handle and train somebody of power. You do not coddle that person. If I really believe that you are a person of authority and a person who has great potential, I'm going to hold you to a certain standard. And what I took from that weekend was, we are doing each other a disservice by turning a blind eye, by not saying what we mean. Of course, in love, don't get me wrong. I'm not into like doing things to hurt people, say things just for the gratuitous nature of torture. I'm not into that. I'm like, when there's somebody, hi, Sister Manuel. Yes, yes, the giant woke up. That's exactly what happened with him. When you are around somebody of power and somebody you can tell, in fact, any single person, but especially those who are the lions and lionesses, those people who have great potential, you do not coddle. You To discipline somebody and to hold them to a standard is to say, this is how big you can be. I'm not going to let you be less than who you are. Guys, it was so clear to me that that was what was on display, and these were the lessons that I took away. So it's very different in my house this week, from my husband to even the little one who learned the biggest lessons. And you should see how Seth is taking to the discipline. Imagine, okay, what I was having trouble with. I have to tell you guys, I was having trouble getting him to sit while I did my abs, or sit while I did my little meditation. He would just be all over me. And because from that weekend, I realized, wait a minute, no, we have to train him. This we have a big dog. He's gonna be big. He's gonna be. Oh my gosh. His dad is 145 pounds. His mom is 100 pounds. This Rottweiler is going to be huge. If we don't train him now and apply the discipline to his potential, we are not going to get the guard dog that is disciplined and that brings out the best in himself and in us. So it's different this week. I have gotten him to sit on the side while I do my abs. Right? And this is how I began. I was like, no, if what I learned is you can train them to do whatever you want them to do, okay, what do I need to do? Right? What do I need to do for me to train this dog to do what I want him to do and to be disciplined that way? I need you to sit on the side because these abs are getting done. Right? And so I want to ask you two questions. Who in your life needs discipline? Who can you hold to a standard because you know how far they can go? Who are the kings, the queens, the lions, the lionesses in your life that with this? And you know what I realize about people? When you hold people to the standard that you know they're able to get to, they appreciate and respect you more than if you coddle them. And almost coddling somebody is really like atrophying their muscles. If you don't work it, it's not going to get bigger and stronger, right? If you don't work those muscles and you don't hold people to standards, then they atrophy around you. Thank you, Sister Hyacinth. Thank you, Sister Emmanuel. No, it's very true. So, who in your life? Who are these lions? Who are these lionesses around you who, with discipline and training and honesty from you, can come up higher? And I'm not saying do it in a way that destroys them. There's a way to build people up. There's a way to hold you to a standard and to do it in love. And secondly, here's my second question for you. And I'm talking about discipline as a value. You realize that, right? That was just like my big eureka moment, big learning on the weekend. If you make it a standard in your life and make it a standard for the people around you, you and everybody else around you is going to be better. Right? You do it in love, right? Right, Sister Emmanuel? Yes, you do it in love. What about you? Is discipline a standard for you? And if it is, let me tell you perhaps the better way for us to be. Are you accepting of discipline? Hey, Janelle, how are you? I always say discipline is one thing that remains constant. I agree with you. Like if you're a mom, if you're a parent, if you're a teacher, like you guys, everybody needs discipline. And if you hold people to that standard, they are better. And don't mind when people are maybe draw away from you for saying certain things. What remains is the essence of this is some person who did not accept my crap. Excuse me. This is somebody who they come back to because what they get from you is an understanding that you understand their potential, and everybody at a certain level, they understand respect. You have to respect people enough to discipline them. And for your own self, if discipline is a value, are you willing to accept it from whosoever gives it? Some people, she's a powerful person and doesn't. Your baby is who's a baby? Oh, your baby. Oh, right. What do you say? That's what are you saying about your baby, sis? I didn't quite get you, but let me know. She's a powerful person and doesn't know it. Well, then you show her. You show her how powerful she is. That's exactly what it is. Yeah. Yes. Nice to see you, Janelle. I'm doing well. I definitely see it. Our kids are 20 and 8. Oh my goodness, girl. Yeah. You know what? I'm thinking what everybody's thinking. 20 and 8. That's like me telling my sons this morning, like the first ones are like 15 and 14, and the last one's 8. And I'm like, yeah, there was a jump. Now we're done. That's fine. But I guess you can see the difference, perhaps, Janelle, in the discipline, or what? Tell me about it. Okay. If you are somebody who who values discipline, you will take it when it's given. In fact, you will run to it. I think where a lot of us get mistaken and we close up is when we think that being disciplined does not mean being disciplined means that we're not good enough. No, you're okay. It's because you're starting from that foundation that I am okay. I'm blessed and highly favored. That's why I always love to say I have nothing missing and nothing broken, as a way of laying the foundation upon which discipline comes, lessons come, humility comes, and all of those things. See what I mean? If you are that person who values discipline and you know how far you can go, you will do stuff like get a coach. Okay? A coach is not for when you're broken. A coach takes you from good to great, and you will submit to it because you realize your potential is too great for you to stay where you are. You will want to move forward. You guys, that lesson stayed with me. I immediately became an even deeper, I think, coach because I saw how discipline played out there with the dog, and then to see how my 8-year-old son's shoulders, he became manly because of discipline and what it did to him, that somebody was like, you're going to be a man, you're a young king, you don't do this, you know, you are able to control this dog, and held him up to that standard. I was like, what? How much more we can do it for ourselves in terms of, because I love you and you all that, and you can go this far, you body, you mind, you habits, you will submit and do what you're supposed to because it will only make you better. That's what discipline does. And it was a eureka moment. I hope you can see that, like, I was so excited to come on and speak about this. It was a eureka moment for me. And I hope, like, it gets you thinking about the places in your life where perhaps you have not submitted to discipline, wherever you get it from. Submitting to discipline does not mean that there's something wrong with you. Submitting to discipline is a recognition of your awesome power and potential that simply needs some encouragement, some refinement for it to take off. You get stronger, you get better, you grow deeper into the bigness that you are. I almost said bigly, like Trump. Doesn't even matter. You get the impression. You know what I'm talking about. And so I want to leave you with, let's go towards making discipline a value. If it is a value, it's something that, one, you accept, and two, you're not afraid to help people come into around you. The people around you should be better because of you. The people about you, around you, should come up higher and be their biggest selves. Oh my goodness, because you are in their lives. Recognize that potential and don't shy away from it. Like, forever after, I'm like, no, I'm gonna be the coach to kings and queens. I'm going to be the coach to, why I say that? Because the discipline is going to make people grow into their biggest selves. And that is where the royalty of who you are comes out. Okay, guys, I'm at time and I'm sticking to time. Discipline! Oh my goodness. So I hope this kind of helped you. And I'll see you again tomorrow, same time. I'm trying to do the 12 o'clock my time. Come on at that time. Let's see if that works. Okay. So join me again tomorrow. We continue to speak about values that we should have, how to get them. I'm so happy for Dasa saying here that, she did the core values chart. I'll put it up if you on Instagram. Just simply go into my bio. You can click on it and download that list and do the work and see what your core values are. Bye and have a good day, everybody.